Welcome to the DegreeWorks Program Manager Training at SCF. In this session, we will go over how to access DegreeWorks, view and audit, use the Pathways or Planner system, how to submit a request for an exception or a substitution, and lastly, how to use the GPA calculator. For accessing DegreeWorks, you'll want to go to My SCF and hover over Faculty and then select DegreeWorks. You can also click Faculty, and on the right hand side you can click the link for DegreeWorks. If you have any students that are older than 2014, you'll want to use the CAP degree audit system, but for any student that is in the 2014 catalog to current, you'll want to make sure that you use DegreeWorks. Students access DegreeWorks in a very similar fashion. They will go to My SCF, hover over Student, and then go to the student profile. Once in the student profile, on the left-hand side underneath their photo, they will click Degree Evaluation Catalog 2014 to Present, and their custom DegreeWorks will appear for them. We have separate trainings available for students, but this training will focus on faculty, staff, and program managers. So we're going to jump into DegreeWorks. So DegreeWorks allows you to view the academic progress for a student in a particular degree or certificate program. If you know the student's G number, you can go ahead and enter it in this box, hit enter, and it will take you directly to that student. Otherwise, I would suggest taking advantage of our Find feature. Our Find feature has a variety of drop-downs that you can use to locate students. You can also use name or partial name. So let's say that I knew I was looking for a J. Smith, but I wasn't sure maybe how they spelled John, or that's all the information I had. You can always use the wildcards, which are the percent symbols, to use partial information. As a program manager, it's probably most advantageous to use the program of study dropdown. So here you could select your program that you're in charge of, hit search, and then every single student that is in that program will appear in this list below. You can hit OK and then start working with every single student in your program. You can narrow that down, of course, by using these filters, classification, catalog year, student type, but if you're just looking for students in your program, this is the quickest way to locate those students. For our purposes, we're going to go ahead and use Maverick, the Manatee, as an example student. So I'm going to put Manatee in the last name field, hit search. Oh, sorry. Make sure you clear all your filters out. So Manatee. Here it's found Maverick Z Manatees. I'll hit OK. That student will then appear in DegreeWorks. If you did select more than one student, you can switch between those students in this drop down here. Now, Maverick the Manatee has multiple programs of study, so I can switch between the programs of study using this drop down as well. So that's a very quick way to switch between all of the different programs. So let's start looking at how we can interpret these degree audits. At the top, you're going to see a box. This is a feature for advisors and program managers where they can freeze audits in time. So here you can add any kind of title or notation to it. I think this is a great way to maybe add remarks or things you want to remember from your discussion with a student. So you might say, today we met and we did an advising session, and I told the student, do not take Mac 1105. And then you can select any type of freeze. This is really just an organizational tool. I'm going to hit Advising Audit. I'll hit Save, and then that will actually appear under the History tab for that student. So here I can switch between all the frozen audits. So here I see the one that I just made, but I can also reference a previous one for a student, and we can go over those kind of discussions if they need to happen. Going back to the worksheet, we have a custom header for each student that contains information pulled directly from Banner. That information is updated every night at midnight. It is also updated the moment you pull that student, but it's also updated if you hit this refresh button. So here you have their name, ID number, their assigned advisor, their GPAs, institutional transfer hours, if there's a FERPA form on file, if they're in-state or out-of-state, if they have registration holds and what those holds may be, their assigned catalog year, program of study, degree, standing, their academic pathway, which ties directly into our planner feature. We'll talk about that briefly. If they're a veteran, if they have any designations such as honor societies, external degrees at other institutions, their last registered term, and then graduation status. So once they apply to graduate, this will kind of give them an update throughout our system of where they are with graduation, but they also receive emails from our graduation team. As a program manager or advisor, you also have a link to BDM. This is our system where we keep on file all the documents for that student. You may or may not have access to that system depending on your position here at the college. You also have an access to the student profile, the current SCF catalog, and then this appears for everybody, which is schedule and advising appointments. So students can come in and actually schedule an appointment with advising through DegreeWorks. At the top is a degree progress bar. This is a very powerful tool for reporting for us. We can use the percent of completion to trigger communications or even use reports to filter out students who maybe are eligible for graduation but haven't applied yet. So if you have any interest in us creating tools for you that might be useful, email us at degreeworks@scf.edu. But this is a great way to kind of help and identify those students who may have certain progress or hit certain markers and they just needed to kind of guide them through the next steps. The degree audit starts with the broadest requirements at the top and then gets more specific underneath, and then blocks are layered within blocks. So let's look at this one as an example. On the left-hand side, you get a guide for how to interpret the audit. So a green box indicates complete, blue is in progress, and red is not complete or missing. Here, we see the overarching requirements. So the student needs 88 credits for the dental hygiene program. A minimum of 88 credits are required for this degree. The student currently has 6, they need 82 more credits, so you get that custom advice. You also have the check for minimum institutional credits, GPA requirements, and then you can see here that there are 2 links. So this is telling us that the AS Dental Hygiene program is made up of 2 different blocks, the AS Dental Hygiene Prerequisites and General Education block and the AS Dental Hygiene Courses block. You can get to those blocks by scrolling below. Here you can see the first one, or you can also click directly and it will take you right to that block. Let's go ahead and scroll down. So here, if I was Maverick and I was looking at this, I would see that I need to complete Anatomy and Physiology 1 and Lab. This is a red block indicating that I have not completed it. Here you can see written communication where I have completed it. And then I can also see what classes would be available to fulfill that requirement. So here I could take 4 credits in BSc 2085C. If I hover over it, it gives me the course name and credit hours. If I click on that course, it'll actually give me who is teaching that class and when it is scheduled to be offered, the course description, and any prerequisites as well. So here I can find information about building my schedule. If there is an asterisk after a course, that indicates that that course has a prerequisite. Also, this is a fantastic way to identify transfer courses versus SCF courses. If you have any transfer courses, they will appear with a satisfied by link underneath it, or a statement I should say. So here we can see that ENC 1101 was completed at Kent State University, and that course was also listed as ENC 1100, and it was titled Composition and Writing 1. So here we can see the transfer information right in the degree audit. Underneath, the student may also have fall through classes that do not count toward their program or certificate or major. So those classes will appear underneath. It'll say either insufficient grades, repeated courses, or courses not applicable to program. So here we can see that BCN 1597, Intro to Solar Energy, is not counting towards dental hygiene, but is still in the student's record. There are a couple other helpful features that you can have right here on this first page. One is the class history link. The class history link shows you a sequential listing of everything the student has taken over time. So it starts with the earliest semester and then goes through to the most current semester. And the bottom gives you a visual check on the GPAs over time. You can also remove in progress or registered classes by unchecking the in progress and registered boxes at the top and hitting process new, and it will remove any registered courses, so you can just see courses that are completed by the student. You can also hit save as PDF, and this will allow you to save a digital PDF of the audit or print the audit. So here you will hit the print icon, and then you can either select a printer or you could do save as PDF or save to Google Drive. So let's look at the what if feature. The what if feature is on the left hand side. This is often used by our limited access programs because students have to submit a degree audit to enter into those programs. It is also used as a way to see progress in programs the student may not be declared in. You want to make sure that you select the catalog year in which they would be entering the program, and then select a program of study. So here I'm going to go ahead and pick the BAS in Supervision and Management. You want to give it time to load on the right hand side. And then I picked this degree program because it is the first to require a concentration. So here you'll also need to select a concentration. You can also add planned courses. So this is not necessary, but a student could say, I'm thinking about taking Mac 1105, hit add course, and this will actually populate it into the audit and show if you did take this course, this is where it would fit in or not fit into the program. And then you want to select process what if. So here we have the what if audit. It shows the program. If Maverick switched into this program, he would be 27% complete with this program. It's the same general layout as the default audit. And then also we can see the planned course here. So here we dropped in Mac 1105. It will appear in blue and say planned. And so the student can see that if they did take a Mac 1105 course, that it would fit underneath the additional coursework requirement of this particular program. Just like the primary audits, you can use the freeze feature here and also freeze reports in the what if history as well. So let's go ahead and look at the plans tab. The plans tab is a way that we can take our degree pathways and assign them to students so they know what to take each semester. You can start with a blank plan or use our select template feature. So here we have all the pathways dropped in from our degree pathways website, and we can pick one for a student. So let's say we're meeting with Maverick and Maverick was taking the AA and they were interested in geography. We could select that pathway, hit open, and it will assign that pathway to the student. You'll need to select a starting term as well. All of our starting terms are in fall, so if they are starting in the spring or summer, you'll have to go in and do some editing. So here we can see the AA geography pathway has been selected for Maverick. I need to make sure that as an advisor, I activate and lock this plan and hit save so that way it's locked in for that student. I can hit the expand button at the top and it will show me each term. So here we can see that for this geography pathway, the student needs to take ENC 1101, GEA 2000, CGS 1000, one of these MAT courses. I have a choice of a course and then hit this GPA in this term. So this allows us to build in warnings that will either be critical or non-critical, and it will help us track whether or not the student is completing those markers on time. Now, the plans feature I think is a little bit more difficult to learn because it's a little bit more customizable and it's involved. So I do offer additional trainings on the plans feature. I'm also happy to meet one-on-one with anybody or set up a department meeting. So if you want to learn more about the plans and how to use it, I'm happy to set up additional training. Just contact us at degreeworks@scf.edu. It is one of those things that you'll learn better, kind of being able to go in and work with the system. So petitions. If you are a program manager level or higher, you do have access to add, modify, and delete petitions. Everybody who has access to DegreeWorks can view a petition and see where it is in the queue at any time, but only those who have the appropriate level can add a petition. So let's say I'm a program manager and I'm looking at requesting a substitution or changing some kind of requirement. I would want to go directly into that student's account, hit add petition, and then I'll see a box up here that has kind of a template to follow. So here I would fill in the information. I would say this is a Bradenton campus student. They are in AS Dental Hygiene, program number 2029. The student is Maverick Manatee. Their catalog year is 2020. The required course is DEH 2071, but for this student, we're going to allow them to take DEH 2083 because it's a more advanced class, let's say. You have any justification there. And then you'll be able to hit submit petition. I don't have the access there because of my description, but as a program manager, you can hit submit petition and it will get directly launched to Matt Connell or Mike Kiefer at this time for them to either approve or deny, and then they can provide a reasoning. You can also go in and modify your petitions or delete them. Once a petition is approved, it goes into my queue and I will add that directly into the degree audit. You will see it. It will say exception by Michelle Morgan, and then have the exception directly in the degree audit with the reasoning as well published into the audit. Lastly is the GPA calculator. There are two calculators that are of note, I think the most useful. The first is the graduation calculator, and this is really a look at your overall GPA and how you might want to hit certain markers. So it's going to drop in the current GPA for the student. You'll fill in the credits remaining. So let's say that Maverick has 20 credits remaining and he's in the AA program, so it requires 60 hours. And he wants to meet a GPA of 3.5 because he wants to get honors when he graduates. So I can drop in that information, hit calculate, and it will tell us that he needs to average a 3.88 over his final 20 credits to graduate with a desired GPA of 3.5. So it's just a really useful calculator for hitting certain markers, especially if the student is looking at retaking any courses or meeting a minimum 2.0 GPA. This is a great way to kind of guide them into what they might need to do to reach those minimums. The next calculator is the term calculator. I call this the panic calculator. It is that calculator you would use when a student comes to you in a term and says, I'm going to fail this class or I'm going to earn this grade. How is this going to impact my GPA? Here it'll drop in automatically any classes that you may be registered for, as well as the credits, but you can go ahead and manually enter them in. So in this case, I'm going to put ENC 1101. Here you don't have to fill this in, but the credit hours do matter. So let's say this is a 3 credit hour class and Maverick thinks that he's going to fail the class. Once you hit calculate, it will tell you that after this term, after you've earned that grade, that the GPA will drop to 2.78. So let's do another example. Let's say that they're in American government, and so he thinks he's going to get a C here and an A in this course. Again, you can calculate and then see that at the end of the term, you would have a 3.22 GPA. So those are the basics for DegreeWorks, how to access it, interpret it, use some of the tools that are here. Again, I'm happy to offer any individual training, teams training, anything that would kind of help you in your department. This is your tool, and I am here to help make it better for you. So if there's something that we can customize in the audit itself or a report that we can create from it, just let us know. We're happy to work on that for you. This tool does offer a lot of customizations and things that we can do to make your life better. So just contact us at degreeworks@scf.edu and we're happy to help. Thank you so much for taking your time to go through this training session. And again, if you need anything, we are here. Thank you.